Recently, I've been diving into the realm of film emulation within Davinci Resolve, and doing so usually requires the use of a lookup table, otherwise known as a LUT, for converting whatever color space your camera shot in to a color space or a look that is more filmic. And today, I'm looking at LUTs specifically given to me by AnalogicaLAB, which was sent to me for free, although this is not a paid video and they're not seeing this video before I post it. This is all completely my own opinions on their lookup tables, and I'm going to also compare them to the built-in Davinci Resolve film emulation LUTs. So we're going to take a look at those, and yeah, let's get right into it. And the first step obviously is to jump into Davinci Resolve, so I'm just going to turn myself 90 degrees here, and it's very simple. I'm ready to go. And we're going to take a look at this clip right here, which was shot back in June. I've been using this footage a lot because I just really enjoyed shooting it. It was a lot of fun, and it was shot for my latest short film, which if you haven't seen already, you should go and watch it. It had a film emulation on it, and it was not done with the analogical LUTs, but I'm just revisiting this footage and seeing how it would look with these lookup tables applied to it. So right here we have a just base clip by itself here. The other two are ones I've already graded, and I'm basically going to show you how we use one of the LUTs from AnalogicaLAB to take it from looking like this to this, which is a much more filmic look. And then this one over here is what the built-in Davinci Resolve lookup table would look like. And we're going to dive into that now. So obviously the first thing you want to do is open up your footage within the Colors tab. And right off the bat you can see this is a log clip. It was shot in Canon C-Log 1 because at the time the update for Canon C-Log 3 was not released yet. And that therefore I know it's a log space and it's going to require some correction and dialing in to make it look good. And to go for a film look, I'm going to have to make a few different nodes here. So I'm just going to label this first node as my base, and I apologize if my computer is making a lot of noise. It has like 6 fans in it because the GPU needs that. And then I'm going to do Alt-S to create another node. You could alternatively do this by going down and doing Add Node, Add Serial, and this is going to be our lookup table. And then another Alt-S to create another node, and this is going to be the grade. Now this is just going to be a basic color correction from the log space into something that looks filmic using the AnalogicaLAB LUTs. Now I must say that for the short film that I filmed, Escape, I did a much more intense film emulation where there was halation, grain, and all these other little minor details added to the footage that made it look a lot better, in my opinion, than just normal digital footage, because there is something to be said about the film look, and that's why a lot of people like it. There is a time and place for commercial looks in your videos, but there also is a time and place for film looks. We're going to take a look at the LUT. And I've gone through the LUTs, and we can just see in here we have Analogica film emulation. In their packs they have a log version, a Rec 709 version, and I don't know what the Mac OS X is. I have a Windows computer, it literally doesn't matter to me. The one thing I'm not super fond about with these lookup tables is the fact that despite being labeled as log, they don't really go with any log footage directly. It's not designed to go from Canon log to a certain color space. It's just working within whatever color space your camera already has. So if you're doing broadcast work, or if you need your timeline to be in Rec 709 afterwards, you're going to need to use the Rec 709 conversion with a color space transform, and then apply the Rec 709 version of the LUT. Every camera brand will have different color science within their log spaces. Like Canon's log space is a little bit different from, say, Sony's. Actually, it's a lot different from Sony's log space. And then Panasonic is a little bit different from that. And Nikon, I think, has a log space. Every major brand has one nowadays, and they're all different from each other. And having one LUT to fit it all is one of my little gripes here. I'm not a huge fan of using LUTs, but this works pretty well. My favorite one is, I think it's this one, the Kodak V3 200T. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of how purple it got. Like if we Control D, it went from being very greenish boom, it's purple. Now that is, if this is authentic film, I am not an expert in film. Like, I should just let you guys know that right off the bat. I'm not an expert in film. I just don't think it should be that purple. That's why there's more than just one LUT, because there are different film emulations, because I don't like every single type of film print. So next there's the 500T. 500T is actually pretty good, I think. Oh, there we go. That's way better. I think I meant to click that one originally. The problem is, if you were shooting in a log space that wasn't Rec 709 and just had a log gamma curve in a different color space, and you're putting this LUT on there, you're not actually changing the color space. Luckily, on my camera, Canon Log 1 only shoots within BT 709, Rec 709, whatever you want to call it. I think they're the same thing. So it's not that huge of a deal, but if I were shooting C-Log 3, which I'm shooting right now, I would not be using these LUTs with it. It's just plain and simple, I would need to use the Rec 709 version of these LUTs, which isn't bad, but if you're doing log footage, it's better to have a dedicated LUT for each camera's log, and I think they should do that even if it's just a color LUT. But as you can see, that looks pretty nice. The colors, it's accurate, it doesn't destroy the image, and it just has this nice, it just looks kind of creamy, a little buttery, very nice. It looks good for sunset, which is what this is. So next I'm just going to add one more node, which will be our glow node, and we're just going to see how much more filmic we can make it look with the glow node, because the glow node really adds a whole lot to your footage. I have a whole tutorial on how to use this, and that shot looks pretty great. So we went from having blank shot, adding their LUT and doing a little bit of correction, and you get that. And if you're just doing basic color correction, you're not doing something super duper advanced, it's great. It works pretty well, but my problems come with not having color space specific log LUTs, which I think they should have, even if it's such a minor difference. If you want to be mathematically correct with your color spaces and all that kind of stuff, especially if you're doing it for broadcast or legit film work, I think people would want to have that. And that kind of having like a one broad general log look, I'm not sure why they would do that, but I guess they have their reasons for it. Not saying it's bad, but I'm saying they could maybe work with Canon footage, all that, but it looks great regardless. I think it looks fantastic. And now we're going to compare it to the Davinci Resolve built-in film emulation LUT, which I've actually put on this clip back over here. And in order to use the Davinci Resolve built-in film LUTs, you need to use a color space transform to get your footage from Rec 709, Canon log, whatever log space or color space it was originally in, and transform it into Cineon film log. You can use Rec 709, even Davinci wide gamut. You can actually, Davinci wide gamut will give us a little bit more dynamic range since it's 10-bit footage. So we have it set to Davinci wide gamut, and this is, I think it's almost the exact same kind of film print emulation. The LUT was, it's in film looks. This is the Kodak 2383D60. I think the Kodak film emulation is by far the best. I've tried all the other ones. I don't want to put them in this video because that would make it forever long, and I just don't think they're as good as the Kodak ones. I think the Kodak ones really look great. The Davinci Resolve built-in ones are great, especially probably a little bit better if you're working with log footage, but if you're just doing regular color grading, color correction, doing stuff with the Analogical LUTs is pretty great. And if you're willing to pay for it, if you want this look, if you want that specific look, and you're willing to pay for it, you can do that. I'm not going to stop you. Whether it's worth paying for is all up to you. I would be more interested in buying a power grade. I'm going to pull up the color grade that was on my short film, which is a much more close to real film emulation. So we're going to go here, apply grade, boom, look at that. And here's the great thing about this. I can change this lookup table, and we're going to go Analogica film emulation, 500T log, boom. And this is a lot more filmic than before. This is after we have primaries, saturation, blur, halation. That's a whole compound node there. That it's such a minor thing, but it's in there. And then you can see I've added grain as well to give it texture. This is a film emulation. This, using the LUT just by itself, is a film color conversion. And then emulation takes it to a whole nother level. So you can use, these LUTs are kind of flexible with that. If you want to use it in your workflow for authentic film emulation, this is not, I'm not saying this is like perfect film emulation. I'm not like a professional colorist. Maybe one day, it'd be cool. But I think you can use them for more realistic. It's very realistic. It's not like they're trying to sell you teal and orange lookup tables that you could create. I think they're great LUTs. Whether you want to pay for them yourself is your own decision. If you're using something like Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, other editing softwares like that, I think these are great options for that. And if you want to use it in Davinci Resolve, they work great, and you have a lot of flexibility. Davinci Resolve is unmatched for color grading, and there's no competition, so yeah. Anyways, my key light has died behind me. This video is probably well overdue for coming to a close. And I've probably rambled on for like 20 minutes, so I'm going to call it here. So I appreciate you watching, especially to the end. Let me know, what do you use for your film emulation, or if you're not doing film emulation, I mean, I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully this provided you a little bit of insight into how to use LUTs in doing so. And if you'd like to see more like full breakdown of how to do a film emulation power grade or something like that, you know, let me know in the comments, and I'd gladly make a video on that if there's enough demand for it. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. I'm Rocket Germani. Peace. My camera's too far away. I can't do the thing where I guess I could.